Good morning, everybody. Oh my goodness, it's Saturday again.
Good morning. Good morning.
I have something special to share. I actually didn't put it up because I didn't want anybody to see what I was going to share before I shared it.
We don't even know.
But there it is.
Oh,
right in front of us. Let's move her up to the top. Betsy Coe. How about that? If you haven't had the opportunity to go and watch her wonderful interview, because she is the member of the week, you should, because she gives big shout outs to all of us, the Saturday morning crew. So that's really nice. So congratulations, Betsy. Welcome to,
thank you.
I'm going to leave that up. Welcome to the Saturday morning live cast, Roundup, whatever you want to call it. We've got lots of great people here. Lynette Jester's here. Brian D. Spencer, Jody Green, John Tyner. Sandy Paddock is in sunny Atlanta. When I lived in the South, we called Atlanta Hotlanta. Hotlanta. Foggy, cool and foggy Los Angeles. There's something not right about that, Susan Anderson. Hillary Gadsby's here from Wales. She's not telling us the weather. Let's see. Kathy Navas here. Alice Chiknik was here. Hi, Alice's family. Judah Beer is here. Lisa. Hey, Lisa. Mary Sleppy. Susie Carta. Who else is here? Chris Ferriello. Mark Lemon. Day Mellon the First. Isn't that...
Dame Ellen.
Okay. There we go. Let's see who else. Eric Vavro, first time joining the live cast chat.
Yes.
Good morning to all from Chicagoland. Now, anytime I hear somebody calling Chicagoland, I think about gangsters. In 1930s cars with machine guns.
And Mags, Eric was the one who did the tricycle family tree photos from last week that we loved.
Wow.
Yeah, that was great.
That was great. That was really good.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Sandra Charlton, here's Tommy Buck from the Bayou State. Let's see if anybody snuck in after I scrolled up. Yeah, I think that hits the people that were here. Not everybody that's here is here. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching after the fact and it's a recording, we're glad you're here. We're glad you're watching. And give us an up vote there. Hit those thumbs ups. I'm gonna not do what we normally do this morning. I'm gonna go straight to the lady of the week. How do I point at you? You're over there.
You're one of those.
You're there, right there.
So I'm just going to hijack the beginning to make a really special announcement about the We Will Rock You event. Coming back to WikiTree for its second time. We did the first event in March, and the next one runs through the entire month of June. And ROCK is an acronym that stands for Random Acts of WikiTree Kindness. So what has happened is this whole month of May, we've been getting organized. Nominations were made. It was in a G2G post. And then we randomly selected 5 WikiTreeers, several of whom are with us in the chat. So we are... It wasn't a secret this time through, but maybe news to some. So we're going to reveal who they are. And the other G2G post that went up was a recruiting one for people who are going to rock them and try and increase their CC7 throughout the month of June. So
what is CC7?
CC7 are all your thank you, Mags, for that leading question. All of your connections within 7 degrees. So this is something you would see. Is that a good enough definition?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And WikiTree keeps track of that. You can see
Yes.
that on
Yeah.
your profile page.
Yeah.
Your CC7 count. So yeah.
Right. It's right up at the top of your profile. You'll see.
You gonna share? Are you trying to show us? Because if you
No,
are, you need to share your screen.
No, it's just to the right of your photo, and you'll see your contributions, your thank yous, and then a number for connections. And so that's your CC7 is that connections.
All right.
And we have a few, like Nancy says, we have a few people who are getting rocked, and they will be rocking as well. Rockies and rockers.
Rockies.
Rockies and
Rockettes.
rockers. Is that running up the steps of the Philadelphia
Yeah, that's
Museum
right.
or the library? Is it the library or the museum? He's like, rocking.
So many great visual displays possible with this theme, this event.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Yutta's here this morning, and she's our first person that we're going to rock, the first on the list. And she has Austrian and English ancestry and lives right now in Wales. And so those of you who have officially signed up to rock have received an email from me that gives a lot more detail about each of the people, and if there are lines they want you to stay away from, it's all detailed. There are brick walls that they'd love a little help with if you are so inclined. Those are all there. And we will also have a Discord channel going throughout the entire month. And we're planning to do a Zoom research party in the middle of the month.
Nice.
So, and then let me go to the right. Okay, and drum roll for the next person.
Wait! I'll find it. Wait! Oh, here we come.
I have several more, Megs.
Okay,
John Tyner.
Yay, John.
I thought you said you had several.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
You're a musician. You should be able to do this.
Oh no. Turn it off.
Someone is just having too much fun this morning. John Tyner. Let's see. I'm flustered. Okay.
I'm so sorry.
John is with us from Wicklow, Ireland, and is a faithful Saturday Roundup viewer. Also a very involved member of the Appalachian Project, and he has given he has a mystery, a family mystery with an ancestor who is believed to have died off the Cape of Good Hope in a boat, but he hasn't had any evidence. And he also asked, he has an ancestor. John, I know you referenced in your note to me, I guess his daughter, Annette Louise Meyer, but I went to her father's profile. So it's a Swedish Jewish line where they emigrated to England, and this gentleman had two wives and lots of children, particularly through one wife. So there's a lot to be added there. And our third Rocky is, see this time I'm going to get it.
There.
Share tab. Nancy Cox Wilson. So Nancy also has so here's where your CC7 is.
So did you pick everybody from our Saturday chat?
Wow. What are the chances?
Really?
Well, maybe our audience members are just more likely to nominate.
There you go.
Yeah.
Could be.
So Nancy already has a fairly high CC7, but we are not deterred. We're going to see what we can do to take it even higher. And she specifically asked about a brick wall with one of her second great grandfathers. And here is that gentleman's profile, Robert A. Field. Monmouth, New Jersey, and she wonderful research notes on the profile. So if you want to dig into that branch, that she brought that up. Okay, I'm ready, Megs. I'm ready.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Next one.
Donna Lancaster, yes. So Donna, I love what she says in her profile. I'm a Yankee. I'm the only Yankee in a family full of Southerners. And she has indeed asked for help with Southern profiles. The ones that she mentioned to me, well, it's a question of born in Louisiana or Mississippi, South Carolina, Mississippi. So we, if you like researching down in the South, go to Donna's lines. And she is also signed up to research as well. Okay, and our fifth and final Kathy Nava.
Really? Oh, that is so fun.
Yes.
That's great.
That is fun.
And Kathy is here in the chat with us today.
Hey, Kathy.
Kathy, I was so thrilled that Kathy got selected because she presents us with a chance to well, she shows one thing that WikiTree does really, really well and thoughtfully, which is to allow people who are adoptees to have two profiles. So we are going to work both on Kathy's adopted profile as well as on her biological profile.
And Kathy is a very active WikiTreeer too.
Very.
She gets your thumb in a lot of pies. Blueberry pies too, I bet.
Blueberry, yes.
So Kathy was very organized in terms of telling us where to look and what countries and separated it out by her adopted or biological lines. On her adopted lines, looking for help in Austria, the Czech Republic, Germany, United Kingdom, United States. Tantalizing question, are my mom's Boones related to Daniel Boone? We heard they are. So that would be fun to uncover. On her biological side, she has a question. She's wondering if there are two people that she manages their profiles for. One is on her adopted side and one is on her biological side. And she's wondering, they have the same surname, wondering if they're related, which that would be very interesting. And the areas on her biological side are United States, United Kingdom, Italy, Prussia, and Germany. So there we have it.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm so excited to get going with this research.
Sorry, I go into national anthems occasionally.
Well, wasn't that Ode to Joy? Well, that is the Austrian, isn't? Yes.
Yeah. Nice. Excellent choices.
And I love that the chat is now about how everybody's connected to everybody else.
Yeah. Well,
I've got Canada connections, Lisa. Yeah. Greg.
Yeah, Canada connections. There we go.
Very cool.
That's not the Canadian national anthem.
No. Some people wanted it to be, yeah.
So are you, is that the wrap up? Are you done there?
I'm done. Yeah.
Okay, bye, y'all. No, I'm just kidding. That's so fun. That is so fun. I want to switch over to
I was going to say, as you were showing the profiles, Betsy, you were a cousin to every one of them, I think.
Yeah.
I did. I noticed that. Yeah.
You noticed that too? Yeah. 10th cousin here, 15th cousin there.
So what I should do is I should.
Is that nepotism?
Yeah.
Oh. I should see if that changes over the course of the month.
Write it down now.
Yeah.
The cousinship and the number of cconnections. Then we can compare at the end of the month.
Exactly. Okay, so I'm going to zoom over to the question of the week now. And we'll run through that. Really fun. Now, again, this is a question of the week that has come up in the past, and yet we get more and even better questions each time this one is asked. And I haven't noticed any repeats from any that we've had in the past. So that's exciting. Really cool. I love this one. And what I'm trying to do is I went to some of the links that are up. So Ralph Waldo Emerson, let me go over here. That's Betsy. Okay, that's not it. There we go. He's got a nice profile, Ralph Waldo Emerson. And see the CC7 here for him? Notable connections.
We're still seeing your
G2G
page.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
I got to get used to that. The thing what I need to do is anyway. So this is Ralph Waldo Emerson's page. And he's got lots of really cool stuff. Nice profile, by the way. Whoever did it. Whose profile is that?
Very nice.
Massachusetts project. So he's got a really nice profile, but check out his tombstone. It is a huge honking chunk of quartz.
Is there a picture of it?
Oh, yeah, I should share that, right? Emerson family plot, Sleepy Hollow Cemetery in Concord, Massachusetts.
The Sleepy Hollow?
Yes.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's very cool.
So that's his. Let's go back here. I need to fix this.
Yay,
so
Betsy.
There's Betsy. I don't want you, Betsy. There we go.
We do.
There we go. So that was pretty cool. And so A. Murphy went ahead and added some stuff for Leanne Deere. Here's one for from Pip Shepard. Notice the Clemson colors on the tombstone. I'm just pointing that out, Pip. There's Clemson. So Carol Willie Owen.
I am not here.
I'm not here. Have a good day.
That's hilarious.
Was that her answering machine message? If we were there, we'd be scared. I love old cedar trees in cemeteries.
Oh, wow.
But there's going to be an issue with this one. It's already broken the tombstone.
Yeah.
See the crack?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool, though. Those are from Pip Shepard.
Wow.
Now, Alexis, this is for James Butler Hickok, Wild Bill.
Oh.
Now, why did they call him Wild Bill if his name was James Butler?
Yeah, really.
It's Alexis's sixth cousin, twice removed. So her granddaughter took a picture of this, and she actually, on his profile, has taken herself out. But we love seeing you, Alexis. So
nice.
I think there's a family resemblance too. Don't you? She has a little bit. She's not as tan as he is, though.
Not quite.
Alexis, you're always giving us great stuff. And you got lots of comments from people. Let's see. A cemetery had a gravestone with a large statue of Jesus. He was wearing the typical robe. But the interesting thing is, being Texas, that Jesus was wearing cowboy boots.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And then somebody mentioned that our Christmas parade in Muskogee, Oklahoma, had a theme of Jesus was a cowboy. So my girlfriend's son has a beard, and he played Jesus in our church float. That's funny.
Wow. Well, to wrangle all those apostles together, you'd have to be.
You have to be. You have to wear cowboy boots to run them down. Let's see if I've got this. It didn't come up. So her ancestor, I got to find the right one. Oh, okay. I don't have that one up. Okay. But there's a YouTube video about the exhumation of this, this interesting story about John Andres DeWitt in New York. I didn't quite get the reason why they were digging the tombstone up, unless it was just to give them a proper burial. I don't know. So it's interesting. You can look at the YouTube video. It's an archaeological dig if you like archaeology. This is really cool. Yi Gong's profile. So Bob is out in small town in mid-north of South Australia. That got me confused.
Mid-north south.
Mid-north South Australia. So he decided to make a WikiTree page for this person. And let's see if I have this correct. There we go. And I'm getting better at this. Okay. Look at this. He created this beautiful profile just because he found this cool tombstone
Wow.
with Chinese writing in mid-south North Australia or South Australia, wherever it was.
Mm.
Isn't that
Huh.
cool?
Mid-north.
Tombstone's really
Oh,
pretty.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love how he transcribed the
Yeah.
characters. Yeah.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Is there any significance in the reason that the writing is smaller than big and then kind of medium size? Does anybody know?
Not
Is
that
the large one the name in the middle, maybe?
Well, the writing goes from right to left. So
Right, yeah.
it starts in the upper right-hand
So,
corner.
but that's the middle size, then it goes big
Yeah.
and then it goes small.
Yeah.
So that would be the name in the middle, like Greg said, maybe. I don't know.
What's if you go up to the top, what's
Oh, the transcription, yeah.
the surname is
Gong.
Oh,
But
Gong.
no, down, if you scroll down, the transcription is in 3 lines as well. Isn't it?
Oh, Yi Gong died 22nd of March, 1882. Yeah, but it's that doesn't tell us though.
Yeah, because well, I see numbers in the far left column.
So that's probably the date.
It is a date. Yeah, that's yeah.
See the things you learn on a WikiTree live cast?
Wow.
Just saying, folks. Just saying. Let's see. Let me get Betsy. You keep coming up on my page. I love you, but you're now gone. Let's go here. So that was really cool that Bob Hallett did that. Love cemeteries, and after moving to New York City, I visited Woodlawn, fell in love with the huge mausoleums. Check this out. Nope. I got to find it. Here you go. This is crazy. That's a mausoleum.
Oh.
That's not a church.
I was going to say, it looks like a church. So how many are interred there?
I don't know.
Like, that's not just for one family, is it?
I don't know. Business magnate. He and his brother William were well-known figures. Wall Street built the great stores of Brooklyn. Commissioned by his wife, Kate, and designed by Thomas E. Blake, the mausoleum has a 90-foot steeple, bronze doors, and Tiffany windows, completed in 1918. I don't know who all is buried there. It only has 2 people.
Wow.
The wife and that's crazy to have that. That's like a little, you would think that you could walk up and go in and pray or something, right?
Yeah.
Where is it, Max?
Well, you might actually.
Woodlawn Cemetery in the Bronx.
Oh.
You would think maybe.
You might.
Let's go on down. Let's go back to this tab. And look,
wow.
Pip wants one of those. No, Pip, that's a cemetery tombstone. You don't want one of those yet.
Yeah.
One of the most picturesque cemeteries in the world is this one in Lakeview Cemetery. It is very picturesque.
Cleveland.
Let's show you a picture. I don't want to sign up for your newsletter. It's on a hill and pretty. See, there's was that Cleveland back there or something?
Hello.
Pretty trees. All right. So share this tab instead. Branch of my family, American spiritualism, Louisville, Kentucky. And a lot of the couples were involved. Good write-up on that one. And here is a link to the marker. We'll jump over there.
Not done with them yet.
Not that big a deal, I don't think, but it's nice. And then there's I thought the inscription, ascended husband of passed to the spirit life, sweetheart, we shall walk together hand in hand.
Nice.
So that's
well, what's interesting about that one is the names on the top, like
Folsom,
and instead of just the sides, like the very top, like looking down.
Oh yeah.
Folsom.
I haven't seen that on tombstones very often.
Yeah.
No, you normally see that if it's a family stone.
Yes.
Like for a whole family, and I don't know how many people are buried in the plot. It doesn't say it's a family plot; it just says section. Let's go back to. And here we go. This is crazy.
Oh, that is very cool. Is that a jukebox?
Wow.
Yeah, and that's for Alan Freed, disc jockey. I remember listening to him.
That is very cool.
I was like 4 years old.
And where is that?
That's in Cleveland, Ohio. unless that's in Hawaii, in Hollywood.
Not the same cemetery though, is it? Probably not. The lake one?
No. This is from Ohio as well.
Because Cleveland has the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Alan Freed was a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so I lost my place. Oops. And then I lost my screen. Sorry. I am not firing on all cylinders today.
Oh no, Megs.
That's okay. That's okay. Okay, so I jumped over to page 2. So I had a bunch more to show, but we're running out of time. We want to leave time so that Mr. Talkie can do his thing.
But before we leave the topic of cemeteries, there's
Yeah.
a challenge going on this weekend to go and photograph tombstones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you can go to any cemetery that has a category. I mean, you could obviously pick any WikiTree profile, but if you go to the cemetery category, click your connections, and you could find somebody maybe connected to you, and then that's what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to go photograph the tombstone.
I'm going to still show some of these. This is a grave that was embroiled in a dispute when the highway was done, and they left the grave in the median and actually put sidewalk over it and put the headstone in the middle of it.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? Here's what it looked like before. It has a marker. And then down here, Nancy Curlin Barnett.
1793. Wow.
Yep. She died in 1831. I'm going to show a couple of the others real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
Warren Gibbs died by arsenic poison. Think, my friends, when you see you see how my wife hath dealt by me. She and some oysters did prepare some poison for my lot and share. Then of the same I did partake, and nature yielded to its fate. Before she my wife became, Mary Felton was her name, erected by his brother, William Gibbs. Ah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
guilty.
Here's a nice cubicle one. I believe that was Perriello's that he put up. That's a nice one.
That is neat.
Let's see. Oh, and here's one with a kid playing Pokemon. Now that's supposed to be a Game Boy, I believe.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think my kids played Game Boy like that.
Oh my goodness.
Here's one that's a burnt tombstone, like a wood burn.
Wood burning, yeah.
Yeah, and then here's one that's an anvil.
Wow.
And I guess people just have added stuff to it, like horseshoes, and there's some tack there for a horse.
Is the name on the tombstone Wile E. Coyote?
No. Let's see. And this is a couple here. There's an interesting one I wanted to find.
The bucket one.
I lost it. Did I lose that? Yeah, it was a big redwood forest tree. Anyway, so that's the photo, not the photo. That's the cemetery tombstones. Woo! I am not firing on all cylinders.
Oh, very good. Well, thanks for sharing that with me.
What is this Nancy saying? How do you find tombstones in the cemetery if you don't know where it is before you get there? You can call the church a lot. You can call the church unless it's the Eardley Church, United Church in Eardley. They say all their records went to the United Church in Aylmer, and I actually know the preachers at that church, and they've been looking for 5 years and they can't find those records.
That's too bad.
And now the church is gone. I don't know where the graveyard went either because they had to put a road through it.
Oh no.
Okay. I'm done.
Okay. Well, so it's fun. We've all diverted, and we often divert often. But WikiTreeer Doug Tabor this week sent me an email and said that he had a sticker designed just for me that I should add to my profile. So I have done that. And let me just show it to you.
What is it about?
Right here. It's a migration sticker. He thinks that everyone on this live cast could use this sticker on theirs. that Greg Clark has migrated from WikiTree to rabbit holes.
We don't ever go down rabbit holes in the live cast.
So and then he gave me the code for an emoji or rabbit hole emoji, so I added that to the text as well. So
really?
Yeah.
You should send us the code for that, and Betsy and I can put that on our.
Yeah,
I can.
We can put live cast crew.
Yeah. Well, anyone. There's a lot. I think all of us, many of us, suffer from rabbit hole syndrome. So let me just copy that code right here. Let's see what happens if I put it in the chat.
Oh. See how fast I can put it on my profile.
Okay, so the emojis are just this text, the destination equals, and then whatever text you put in there actually is what shows up, and then the flag is the code that gives you the specific flag or image. So you can get rid of these emojis if you think those holes are, or you want to reposition these emojis.
So we have to do that in order for them to be able to see that in the.
Oh, they can't see it.
How do you grab that? You can't grab.
Yeah, I can't grab it.
You can't grab it.
And so it doesn't show up on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, it only shows up if I post it like this.
Oh, but in the chat, if they've got their chat open.
Yeah, the chat's there, but you can't grab it. You can't cut and paste it.
Ah, okay. Oh, we can add notes to the video after it's published.
Yeah, if you
there you go.
Yeah, send me the code and I'll put it as a comment to the video.
Yeah. Okay.
Post that in our little Facebook group, Monsieur.
Okay, will do.
See, Dee Spencer's already got it up on hers.
No way.
I believe so.
Really?
Hey, Debbie Root finally made it.
That is hilarious. That's funny.
Did you put it in our little group? Nope.
Oh, so one more exciting thing happened, and I'm so glad that Kathy Nava was chosen to be one of the rockers this month, because for the first, like, after 5 years of being part of WikiTree, I finally actually created my alter ego profile. So this
week,
yeah, I know. I hadn't done it up until now because the reason I came to WikiTree was I wanted a place to put my.
I don't see that as an alter ego profile.
I know.
I see that as you.
Well, I'm me. I'm encompassed both. The reason I hadn't done it was because I encompass both families, or at least I consider myself part of the Clarks, McIsaacs, and Douglases, and Marcoux, and Etier, and all the other. So I didn't. Again, just like the reason I didn't search for my bio family in the first place was I didn't feel I was missing something. I didn't feel I was missing out on my two halves of myself. But this week, I did create a profile for my bio self. And the cool thing about that, and I put a link to it, so I can switch back and forth easily from my adoptive self to my bio self. I'm my own cousin.
Huh.
Look at that.
That is pretty.
Isn't that wild? I'm my own cousin.
You're yeah. Wow.
That's I don't know.
Well, it makes, because my mom's side, my adoptive mom, her last name was Bay, but it originally was Bailly, which was originally from Montreal and in Quebec later on. So there's deep French Canadian roots on that side. As also on my paternal grandmother's side, her last name was Fountain, but it was originally Fontaine. So there was also some Quebec connections there. So, but I thought that's neat. So there's WikiTree. It already told, so all my cousins are actually my cousins. They're just a little further away than I originally thought, but they're still my cousins, no matter which way you slice it. But anyways, that's enough about me. I just thought I'd share that with the community. And congrats, Kathy, on being chosen. I hope you get some cool connections too. So I'm wondering if, Kathy, are you related to yourself as well in that way? I'd be curious. But moving on to the profiles of the week, which extraordinary DNA ancestor are you most closely connected to? And so the profiles that we're going to talk about here, most of them are from the WikiTree challenge that just happened a few weeks ago. And there's a nice video that Megs and Peter and Mindy put together to wrap up that challenge. And the challenge was for supporting mitylydna.org, which is a website where you can upload your Y-DNA or your mitochondrial DNA. It's a free website, and it allows you to compare your mito-Y-DNA or your Y-DNA, which is your pure maternal or paternal lines, with other members, other users. It's one way I've heard it described. It's sort of like GEDmatch, but for Y-DNA and mitochondrial DNA. Okay, so it's a free place where people can go and upload. And so these profiles were chosen because they go so far back in time, and then of course their descendants. They've got many descendants who would share the same DNA. So that is where we start. And so the first one is Catherine Roet Swinford. And she was born around 1352. No, she was born around 1350, sorry, in Somme, Picardie, France. And she went to work in the house of Queen Philippa of Hainaut. Philippa was married to the English king, King Edward III. And like the Queen, Catherine was from Hainaut, which is now divided between Belgium and France. So it's right on that border between France and Belgium. She later became the governess of the children of Blanche and John of Gaunt. His last name is often written as Plantagenet because he's descended from the Plantagenet family. Then a researcher was Kingsford was the first to propose that Catherine was born in 1350, but there's no documented evidence. So that's why it's an estimated amount. And then it has her vitals, her family, her parents, Sir Péon d'Hérault. And the mother is unknown at this time. You know, records back then often only focused on the male line or the patriarchy and that stuff. So she was married twice. So Swinford is her first husband's married name. Blanche, Thomas, and possibly Margaret were children from there. And then John of Gaunt, who apparently she was his mistress for 20 years, and they had at least 4 children there, which were legitimized by King Richard II. So she's now, one thing that's interesting, I just noticed because I had this in reading mode originally. When you're in reading mode, there's a little button at the bottom so just how, remember, I think I showed off reading mode last week or the week before.
Yes, yeah.
How it sort of hides all the extraneous stuff. Well, it's not extraneous, it's interesting stuff. But if you're just focusing on the profile and the story, the bio, then you know it can distract you if you're prone to rabbit holes.
Right.
And one of the things to make it even tidier is that it even hides the sources. But you can, with the click of a button, they can reappear. So that's just one of the many features of the WikiTree browser extension, if you're interested in using that. And there's a really good help page for the browser extension as well, which I had up here, but I've lost that link somewhere. So maybe someone can find that. We can put it up because there's so many features now in the WikiTree browser extension. It's massive. If you go to the options, like there's just so many, and many of them if they have this show options option, then it either gives you another little set of many options to choose from, or in some cases, like the profile family lists, or in some it even, I thought it opened up another whole page in some places. Maybe not. Maybe they're all in line now, but anyways, there's lots of things there. So I would recommend checking out that free space page, which is sort of the help page for the WikiTree browser extension at some point. Moving on, Renee Bro.
My closest.
Your closest? Nice. I can't remember who my
wait, no, it's your closest.
I was going to say, I thought this was my closest.
She is.
13 degrees is pretty close.
That is pretty darn close.
Let me just see how. Well, okay, we didn't say she's not related. Okay, so it's through marriage, right? Oh, but there's only one.
That's
there's only one
close.
color change. Looking at the alternative view. Look at that.
And you have the closest this week.
Oh, really?
Yours is 13, mine is 16, and Betsy's is 17.
Wow.
And I really like that you showed me how to get that to work on my screen, so now I can see it very easily without do it by
We're doing
having,
the calculations. That's right.
yeah,
So
without having to do it in my brain.
So her sixth mother's husband's brother is
Greg,
my
you're going down
great-grand-
a rabbit hole.
Oh, is that a rabbit hole? Sorry.
Somebody pull his legs.
Get me out. Anyway, she's Acadian. So that no wonder I'm so close.
No
Because
wonder.
she's Acadian.
Did I say biscuit?
Did you say biscuit? I don't know.
I think I missed saying biscuit. I had a biscuit for breakfast.
Well, you did mention Appalachia already once. So.
Did I? Oh,
I'm
so sorry.
I think you did.
I take that back.
So she Renee was born in France. Actually got married there, I believe, and had some of the children there. And then between the baptism of her second and the birth of her third, she migrated to Port Royal in Acadie. And then Port Royal, which is on the inner coast of Nova Scotia. So if you can picture the map of Nova Scotia, they don't have a map here, do they? There was
no, I don't.
They don't have a map there. Okay, I actually had a map up, but it's in my other browser, so I don't want to divert anyway. But it's on the inner coast of Nova Scotia, and it was taken over by the English at one point, but the British they were very. It was more of a kinder takeover than some. They not everyone was massacred or anything like that. They actually let the French the people leave the fort under their own steam. Even allowed them to carry their flags out of the fort and whatnot, and offered to send them back to France, and even gave them the people working at the fort. They were offered transportation back to France, and even given enough pelts to cover their wages. Like that's pretty decent. When
they were exiling them.
Well, no, this isn't the exile. This is just one of the skirmishes at one point early on.
Gotcha.
Later on they were not treated nearly as well, but this one particular instance, they were. So that was kind of impressive. But many of the families actually stayed, including Rene Breaux's family, and later and then settled in the area. And her name is on a plaque on the church in La Chaussée. So pretty cool. Anyway, she has many descendants, and so like many of the ones who are part of the WikiTree challenge, you'll see there will be test links to MITA-Y DNA kits and also haplogroups. So this one, H13A1A4, is the haplogroup that's associated with Renee. And in fact, in the research notes, there are details about that. There's a DNA section on the profile about the descendants and that. So very cool there.
And I have to say, Peter Roberts is the person who picked all of these cool profiles.
Yeah, he did a great
Peter
job.
has a really good knowledge of the deep DNA connections on WikiTree.
Yeah, it's very impressive. Very impressive. The next profile is Jane Bond.
You've been waiting to do that.
I have been waiting forever to do that. Jane Bond, daughter of Robert Bond.
Not James?
Not James, it's Jane.
No, I'm saying that her dad was.
Oh, her dad's name is James. That's right, yes. But who knows? Maybe.
Also known as Johanna.
Yeah.
No, that's Sarah's mama, Johanna. Mama Hannah.
Mama.
Have you noticed that how Joe Mama abandons us?
I know.
When Sarah's not here. I thought she was a true friend too. Anyway, go ahead. What rabbit hole?
So her actual profile itself is basically just a set of documents and the transcriptions of them. So unlike many of the profiles where it's sort of written, more of in prose and sort of details the life, in a story mode, sort of like that. This one just gives you the facts basically. But the neat thing about this is that these documents that have been transcribed, and that must have taken a lot of work, I would say. These documents actually speak a lot about the person. So, for example, the will, which is I thought was funny to start with the will. I guess unless you follow the model, start with the end in mind. Which is, as teachers, we often do that when you plan your lesson. Where you want them to go, and then you figure out how to get them to that point. I don't usually think of that when I create a profile on WikiTree, but the cool thing is this really gives you a little bit of a glimpse of her life. The beginning of the will is probably boilerplate that, in the name of God, blah, 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 the date and everything. I, widow of the late wife, Richard Coles. And of course, the spelling and everything is pretty old school. So let me just zoom in so you can see a little bit better. Some blah, 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 talking about her multitude of my sins, my body to be buried in the church, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, this is item 1. I give and bequeath to 20 such poor maidens as shall be next married in Preston, aforesaid, the hut place, after my decease, 20 nobles, that is to be to any of them 6 shillings 8 pence. So the next 20 maidens who marry 20 nobles in the church get from her will this a sum of money, 6 shillings and 8 pence, paid to them on the date of their marriage.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Because the maidens wouldn't necessarily be marrying nobles. So
yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah. And then she bequeathed to my son-in-law Ambrose the sum of 20 pounds, which I lent to him. Okay, so she's basically forgiving her debt. Her daughter, the 6 pounds, blah, blah, blah. The residue of my goods and cattles, except my debts and after my debts and funerals have been paid, and then she has 2 son-in-laws, which she mentions a lot, Edward and William. And then
Edwards.
Edward Edwards.
And I bet all of his children were named Edward.
Edward Edwards. And of course, he's supposed to use the goods and the cattles for the good education of his children, from the wives who were her daughters, Ursula and Agnes. And then she, let's see, there's some other neat things. Her son, Peter Coles, is to be paid executors, moitié, which is a half of all such debts due to me and my daughter, blah, blah, blah. She gives someone in recompense of the pains that she gave unto them. So I guess she realized she was a bit of a pain at some times. She gives someone 1 rope, and to his wife a petticoat and a smock. That's pretty specific. William gets 1 French sword. Her servants each get 6 shillings. Anyways, it's kind of neat. It goes on. Oh, Mary Coles gets her best silver pot. I mean, some really interesting stuff there. So very cool. Next to Gofrid of Lochlan from Ireland. And there's a number of Irish profiles here in a row that we're going to go through. Gofrid of Lochlan has sometimes been suggested to be the same person of Gudroder Ragnarsson, son of Ragnar Lothbrok Sigurdsson. But since this is only speculation, we can't prove that. There'll be a profile for each of them, and they're not to be merged unless such proof miraculously appears, I guess. But I suppose at this point, considering this guy was born about 1800, chances are the proof is no longer there. But there's a record in the year 1848, the king of Mumu. And Mumu, in the next profile, it actually shows you a map. And so that's the bottom Munster part of Ireland. So he's mentioned. He's the ancestor of the Imar of Uí Imar dynasty, a 9th century Norse family who dominated the lands around the Irish Sea, and often referred to as Gofrid, the king of Lochlan in the Irish annals. So really interesting stuff. It goes that far back.
He is my 34th great grandfather,
Wow.
according to one of the 297 different paths found.
That's right. And he's my 36, so you're closer than I am.
Is that
And Meg's
1800 or 800?
800.
Yeah.
0800. Yeah. Before the millennium, the very first millennium. Yeah. So is your grandpa too, Megs?
You know what? I was down a rabbit hole.
I'm
I'm trying to get my my thingy fixed.
Okay.
The rabbit hole badge.
The rabbit hole badge. I knew it.
So Godfried, let's see, Godfried of Lockham.
Yes.
Is my 33rd great granddaddy.
33rd. Okay. So and it looks like Debbie Root, her grandfather as well. So I wonder how if he's the grandfather of everyone in the chat.
Oh, that's funny.
Right? I mean, the three of us, he's our grandfather. Great.
Yeah.
Granddaddy.
Oh, Lisa's 30th. She's really close. Lisa. Interesting. Next, so here's that map I was talking about. So there's Munster. And what was it? He was a Uwe of Umar. Okay, I thought it was the Ulad here, but no, it's not. Yeah. Okay. So this next one is Ivar of Waterford. Waterford is down here in in Munster. And he was the ruler of a Viking port in the market town of Waterford. So we're on here. So that if you can imagine, if you can see my cursor fly, can
you make it bigger, Greg?
Can I make my big cursor bigger?
No, the image a little bit bigger.
Oh, okay. There we go. How's that?
Yeah, good.
There we go. So Waterford's at the bottom of Ireland here, if you think of it that way. And over here, so here would be Norway and where the Vikings were from, and they would sail around Scotland. And then here's the in between Scotland and Ireland are the Hebrides, the Outer Hebrides. And
there's Island McGee right there.
Right here?
Right on top of the L, out into the sea. Right to your right. There you go. That's where I'm from.
Here's your Island McGee. Oh, neat.
Yep.
Yeah. So they would sail down and then to here, to Waterford would be that place that they're referring to here, the Viking port. Yeah. And he was a sea lord and may have been leading raiding parties north along the west of Scotland into the east of the Wales and England. So he was a busy guy. And you can read about him in the Annals of the Four Masters. And so anyways, it's interesting. It's interesting to me that there's actually this much information about people from so far back.
Yeah.
That these annals have actually been kept. I wonder how many times have they been transcribed or retranscribed, because it's hard to imagine the very original copies.
I've got some mathing for you.
Ooh.
Debbie Root wants to know how many 35th great grandfathers we might have.
Ooh.
Figure that one out.
That's an excellent question. Well, we know that every person has 2 grandfathers, right?
Oh, this is going to take a while.
No,
so how you doing, Betsy?
So, and every person has 4 great grandparents, right? Okay. And then, so you'd have 8 great grandparents. So that's the second great grandfather, right? So now that 8 is 2 to the power 3. So your 2 times great grandfather is 2 to the power 3. Okay. So whatever times, you just have to add 1 to that and you get the exponent of 2. So it'd be 2 to the 36th grandfathers.
Did he answer your question, Debbie?
There's 2 to the 36 great grandfathers if you do your grandfather, your family tree. However, someone does put up an excellent point. Does your assume no cousin married? Well, there's 2 to the 36 spots. Some of those are going to be repeat ancestors. So the number of unique great grandfathers.
People are
That's true. Here's what Google says 2 to the 36th is right there.
Okay.
We're not seeing you.
Oh, sorry.
Because there you go. There you go, Debbie.
Okay. So
There
that
you
is
go.
spacing it out, millions, billions.
That's
68
a
68
lot of
trillion
34th grade. 68 trillion.
68 trillion 719 billion 476 million 700. There's no, wait a second. No, I'm wrong.
So rounding up,
Thousands,
69 trillion, Debbie.
Oh, is that billion? Did I go wrong? That's hundreds, thousands. That's the millions. No, it's 68 billion.
Billion, not trillion, billion.
Billion.
That's big enough for me though.
Yeah.
Billion, trillion, you just gets all lost.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Oaken Row. Born a little bit later in the year 970, so still before the millennium, in Kinnoch, Ulster, Ireland. Apparently he died there, but we don't know exactly when.
Who is this?
According to the 17th Scottish historian, only 7 centuries later, that Oaken Row was an Irish nobleman who had a stronghold on the water of Row in Derry, Row being a river, obviously. Row water runs through the ancient Connacht and empties into the Lough Foyle above Limavady. His son Donald Domhul took a company of soldiers to the aid of Malcolm II against the Viking Danes who were invading Scotland, and was rewarded with a grant of land in East Dingwall, Rossshire, on the shore of Cromarty Firth. So here's the cool thing. So his last name is Rowe, right? Oaken Row. So his son became Munro. And that's where the Munro family name came from.
Oh, interesting.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
I think that is very, very cool.
And the other really cool thing I love about this profile is all of those Y-DNA testers.
That is a very cool thing. In fact,
they're all variations of Monroe.
They're all variations of Monroe. So, because this was the Mito Y DNA challenge, I mean, that is very cool to see. And let's just check out what we can do with that. So here we've got 3 Monroe. Well, we've got 5 Monroes in a row, but 3 of them actually have kits on mitowydna.org. And if you want to see how they're related to each other and if you're related to them, you can just click on the compare button here.
And then click on the compare button and click on the compare button and load it all up.
That's right. And the cool thing is, so I did this in preparation. So it's already loaded those 3. But if I had, let me just go back to scratch here. If I hadn't, I'd hit compare first and it loads up the first kit ID. Can you see that?
Not yet.
And
yeah. Yep.
Okay, and then you hit the second compare button and it adds that kit. And with GEDmatch, usually you can only do 2 at a time, I think.
That's correct.
But with MitoY, you can do multiple ones. So I can hit that third compare and it pops it in there.
You can do up to 20, I believe.
What's that?
You can do up to 20.
Yeah. If Kevin and Ken had also tested at MitoY, had uploaded their Y-DNA results to MitoY-DNA, we could have added them as well.
Right.
But what we can do now is we can hit compare. I'm already logged into mitowydna.org, so it automatically takes me to this screen. If you weren't logged in, it would come up with the login screen first.
Go to the YSTR Plus.
That's exactly what I was going to do.
No
so this
way.
Is this is one view of the Y-DNA. So along the top here are all the markers. So these are the different actual little pieces.
Make it bigger, please.
What's that?
Make it bigger, please.
Sure. There we go. Well, along the top, so each of these are basically the little wee pieces of DNA that they're comparing to each other. And if the number, there's a number associated with each marker, basically how many times this one repeats. And if the numbers are the same, then that means that piece of DNA is exactly identical for all 3 of these people. If it's different, if there's a highlight, then that means it's off by 1. And the thing is, as long as there's very few off by 1s, because it does mutate slightly over the ages. The lower the number, the closer you are related.
And that's fast changing markers, so that makes a difference.
And the red ones are fast changing. So that one, I'm not saying it doesn't count, but it almost doesn't count. I mean,
that's orange, Craig, just to let you know.
Okay, well, So then if you go to the newest tool that was added to the mitydna.org, the YSTR Plus with our little puppy here, it shows the same thing, but it shows it sort of vertically, but it also gives you some other features. Like, for example, instead of looking at all the different markers and all that data, which data is cool, but if you wanted to just look at the differences, click on that, and then it shrinks the table to just the places where there's a difference between one and the other. And you see how close these three kits are. So these three people, like, so there's only one difference, one place where they're different, and only three places where they're different here. So they're really close. Now, this one kit, the middle one, has blanks because they didn't test as many markers. So when you do a Y-DNA test, there's a number of different levels you can test at. So there's the legend here, you can actually turn on and off different ones if you want to focus on one particular range. So 67 is one of the entry levels now. 111 is another one. And if you want to do the big one on family tree DNA, the largest one is called the big Y700 right now. But if they don't test at that level, then you can't compare because we don't know what their values are for this particular marker. But so that's pretty cool. And the other neat thing you can do is if you click on this path button, you can see the different path. You can actually see the map of where that Y-DNA has come from. So when you start from the middle of Africa, where the Adam 1 came from, according to the DNA, you can map out the ancestor's root. And then the other thing you can do is you can compare the haplogroups, because these are three different haplogroups for these three testers. So they have different, if you want to know how those compare to each other, then you can load up that, and it shows them all on one chart. So that implies that they are all from the same family. And with the timeline, when you toggle the axis and turn on the timeline, you can actually see there's the one that goes back 1000 BC, back to those origins, and then two of these other ones who are really recent, like between 1500, so probably around 1800. So, like, that's within the genealogical time frame. You could probably find that connection if the records were there. So that's pretty cool stuff, I think.
I do.
Absolutely.
Anyways, we will move on to Michelle Sauvagy, born in the north of France, Priche North, and she. We don't have any source of evidence for her birth, though it's likely she was born in France.
She's my closest at 16.
Yeah.
But not my great grandmama.
She is not?
Nope.
Nope, she's not. She's 17 degrees from me, not my great grand. And though she was French, I would have expected that. But actually, there's some Dutch. The fact that she was born in France, maybe she married, both her husbands, I believe, were Dutch. Hieronymus Tricot.
A lot of the Huguenot ended up going up through Holland and stuff to catch ships to England when they were escaping. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So her personal profile doesn't give a lot, but the research notes give a lot of details about Michelle and then her descendants, and some of their demise. Killed had only Frederick.
Good use of the research notes section.
Yeah, research notes are wonderful. Great stuff.
Yes.
Can I make a comment?
You go right ahead.
I thought of that.
You thought of research notes?
I am the reason we have research notes.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you, Mags.
Yes, that's huge.
Oh, that
Isn't
is
that huge?
Yes.
It is.
I remember when Chris said it got approved. I'm like, it got approved. And this was like months and months and months. I think it was 20 years after I asked for it. He said, your research notes. And I was like, yes.
That's good.
Isn't that fun?
That's great.
Big
That
contribution.
Mm-hmm. Next, Catherine Strutt, formerly surname unknown. Born about 1520 in Suffolk, England. This again, it's a guess. She married John Strutt and is presumed to be mother of his children, Johanna, Thomas, and Ambrose. Died in 1578. Was buried in Suffolk, England. Of course, Latin in the parish register back then, but someone translated that nicely. So there we go. And again, the research notes talk about disputed surnames and parents, which is also typical at the time. And John Thorpe, about 1608 from England, died before the 15th of August, 1633 at about the age of 25 in the Plymouth
Look at all
colony.
those Y-DNA tests.
Look at that. Wow. I didn't do that one, but I should. Well, looking at the time, maybe I should. I'll leave it as an exercise to the reader to come back and do those. So anyways, so his first records, nothing is known about him prior to his immigration to New England. He came to Plymouth Colony, Duxbury. I didn't realize there's a place called Duxbury. It's a cool name. He married Alice, surname unknown, but unfortunately he died young from the pox, I think it was. Where is it here? He died in smallpox, in a fever epidemic. And his wife was given an inventory, was supposed to do the inventory, but she didn't do it. And then Captain Miles Standish, whose name we know from previous live casts, he had to come in and help out. And it turns out he had more debts than he had goods, which was unfortunate. But luckily, his widow was freed from all the claims by all his creditors. So that was nice of him. There was one funny thing about he was charged with something. Yeah, the earliest record of him was a complaint by his apprentice. His apprentice complained because of his lack of clothes. His master was supposed to supply him with clothes, but he didn't do that. So that's kind of rude. And he was given a tax of 18 shillings because of that offense. Then we have Cheribert Neustria, von Neustria, who was a nobleman in Neustria, which is somewhere in France, I'm guessing. And he's supposed to be or is said to have been the oldest ancestor of the Capetian dynasty. So all those kings from the Capet line, which include all the Louis, the Mag's notes.
Yeah, I like that. I gave him $20 to post that.
Yeah, that's right. So all the King Louis, like Louis XIV, Louis XIII, 14th, all those are from his line. So he's the great granddaddy of them all, including my own great grandfather, 42nd at this point. So is he your grandfather too? Oh, Lisa's. He's Lisa's as well. Anyways, and so they have notes about supposed wife, supposed parents. And there's a little bit of research note there. But looking at his Y-DNA, so his Louis the 17th of France has his Mito Y DNA on MitoYDNA.org. So I actually did a comparison of his to mine. And so we have a few differences, but his DNA is fairly small. Like it doesn't have many markers, right? If I go back to just all markers, you see the first column here, Z, the Z one, it's just sort of hit and miss, and then there's a lot. So there's not a lot, but if you do the map, it looks like I'm in the same line. So if we went further enough back and there were records, then we would be somehow related, but maybe not directly paternal. And the last profile, Katharina von Pfannenberg, daughter of Ulrich III, Graf von Pfannenberg, dates unknown. One source is the first wife, documents her marriage and her children. She was the first wife of Meinhard VI, And again, the exact date is unknown, but the marriage must have taken place before 11th November, when a document dated the sign refers to her as his wife. Some children here, and then, like the rest of her life, we don't know the exact date of her death. But there we go. And
Is that it? Are we done?
That's it.
Finally?
I'm done.
Oh my gosh. That was fun though.
Yeah.
There was a few rabbit holes there, but I thought, considering the WikiTree challenge was MitoY based, I thought that was a worthwhile diversion.
Yeah. I mean, what a great party to have this eclectic group. I love it.
Yeah. Anyways, there we go.
Thank you, Greg.
Greg,
Yes.
before can you show your photo, your contribution?
Oh, for the photo of the week. Yes.
Yes, we have
Let me just grab that again.
three new photo of the week based on the theme children.
Mm-hmm.
One is mine and one is Greg's.
Okay. And so I'll just pop mine up again. So yeah, so I'm going to share. Yeah, there we go. So the theme this month was children, right? And the theme last month was couples.
Right.
And there was a G2G post in between the two of them asking about what do you do for family reunions? And so I thought, well, I've got the perfect photo that answers all three of those questions.
Oh.
So I put together a family tree for our McIsaac family reunion a few years ago. And what I did is I basically made it a photo family tree. They're not riding tricycles, unfortunately. I hadn't thought of that at the time. But what I have is, for each couple, I have their individual shots and dates. And then I have a picture of their wedding shot, if I have a wedding shot. I didn't actually have a wedding shot of my grandparents, so I have a couple shot of them. But then a family shot of all the kids together. And so this is my mother, Bernadette. Mary Helen Bernadette is her full name, and all her siblings. And then this is my dad and their wedding, a picture from their wedding. And this is me and my siblings. That's little me at the bottom there.
Oh, you need to blow that up.
Yeah.
You got to blow that one up. Sorry.
Wiggle your cursor. I can't really tell.
Wait a second. It's not. Why is it?
Yeah, that's bigger.
Can you see that?
Almost good enough.
Oh, you know what? Let me switch to.
We want to see little Greg.
I know. You want to see little Greg. Let's see. There we go.
He's speaking of himself in the third person.
There's.
So which one are you? The middle one?
I'm the one with the bow tie. The blue.
Well, of course you are.
I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest
in
in all of my family.
Ties, though.
What's that?
Your brother has a red bow tie.
Oh, he does too?
On.
Yes, that's right. I didn't notice it because it sort of blends in with his plaid jacket.
Aren't you adorable?
I was just going to use the same word. Yeah. We have consensus.
Yes, we have consensus. Do. Anyways, but I thought that was a kind of a neat idea because you see them at the beginning of their marriage and then the fruit of their labor, so to speak. And anyways, it's kind of a neat. I thought that was a neat idea. So I will stop sharing that now.
You're adorable, Greg. We all love you.
Well, you're very kind.
And your mad scientist hair.
Yes, I was noticing the hair.
It was Christopher Lloyd type hair there.
That has always been like that.
You're getting lots of kudos here.
Well, let's see. Let's see if I'm okay. There we go. We have a photo from Brian Nash, and Brian, I noticed you also had another couple of photos that couldn't be seen due to privacy, but the description sounded delightful. So I hope you get that worked out. But this one, let me blow it up, is Brian's great grandmother, Elizabeth Baxter Anderson, with all of her children, except for the oldest. The photo was taken on the occasion of his funeral, Jimmy Fiddler Anderson. They are in Duncan, Nova Scotia, 1976. And looks like most of them have profiles.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah. And then I put up a photo too. So this is my earliest photo of my father.
Wow.
He's got a broken wing.
I know.
Mhm.
So this would have been he was born 1924. And this is probably, he looks about 4 or 5. So very late.
That is adorable.
That is very sweet.
Ow.
And I found this photo when he didn't have a copy, but I lived in Taipei in his family home during first summer in college. And I uncovered this photo and I wrote home and asked him about it. And he was always very stoic. And so he said, "Oh yes, I remember that. It wasn't bad at all."
Mhm.
But he doesn't look happy in this photo.
No, well, with the broken wing.
Yep. So, we have, we're running down the clock for May, but if you have any more photos of children, I will check back and we'll show them next week. And we'll also be thinking about the theme for June, which is music. So
This is my granddaddy.
Oh, look at that.
Little Cleland.
Cleland.
Oh,
That is so
and what's
sweet.
the date on that? That photo?
1908.
That's beautiful.
He was
Very
probably
cool.
6 to 8 months old here.
Yeah.
Isn't that adorable?
Yes.
Very adorable.
That's my granddaddy.
Nice.
Thought I'd share it.
I love that. Thanks, Mags.
Baby Clee. Are you done?
I have a tip.
Ooh.
I was gonna say, give us your
Yeah, okay, here's
Here's
the
a
tip. All right. So
Oh,
You're
right.
showing your dad again. There we go.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So, there we go. Actually, I wanted to be over here. Sorry, click the wrong tab.
Mhm.
There we go. And I need to not be so big. Reset.
Mhm.
Okay. So the tip of the week is how to dig deep into a surname that is of interest to you.
Ooh.
So I'm just going to pick my mom's maiden name, McMurray. And if in the search bar, instead of typing a full name, just type the surname.
Mm.
And you will get to a page that looks like this.
Mm.
So and then you'll get this list of all the profiles with that surname, both men or women where it's the maiden name.
Mhm.
And there's so many directions you can go in with these quick links. For example, if you go to the activity feed, then you're going to see what people have been working on recently related to McMurray's. So that can lead to some fruitful collaboration avenues.
fruitful collaboration avenues. That's an FCA.
I think that needs to be an official acronym.
That's right. I love that.
An FCA.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, of course, you can sort it by alphabetical or date. You can find matches. So this is kind of interesting to match up with people in your watch list. Potentially hunt out some duplicates that might have snuck in. Again, find other people.
Those sneaky duplicates.
I know. Want to merge them away.
Mhm.
And then let's see, where was the other one? Oh, orphaned. Okay, if you want to see, who are some McMurrays that need some love.
And when we say orphaned, we mean that the profile doesn't have a profile manager. Not that these are poor children that have been orphaned by their parents.
Right. Yes. That they need someone to come up, and there's a little box next to where it says no profile manager, and you click on adopt this profile, and then it's yours. And then there's one other thing I wanted, project. So I was not aware of this. There's a McMurray name study, and I'm going to join.
Yay!
Wow.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah. So yeah, all kinds of little goodies you can find on that page.
I used that this week to see if we had a very rare surname in WikiTree, and we didn't. So I've got to go back and add some of the people that I found for that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks, Betsy. Go.
Excellent.
We've got some things coming up in the next week. We'll go to the G2G just recent questions. There's a question about a hold request, and it has to do with orphan trails for some of the projects. When they have people that are working on a profile, they want to put a hold on the profile so that the person working the profile has an opportunity to do that with other people without other people getting involved. So go and answer that question for Mr. Witten, our WikiTreeer in chief. Challenge 9, the week has started for the Society of Hispanic Historical and Ancestral Research. There's an interesting acronym, SHAR. You know, like the pshaw. That's Southern for you gotta be kidding, or nah. Pshaw. Okay, and then what's happening around the WikiTree? Thank you, AON, for posting this. So what's today? Today's the 25th.
Yeah.
Today's the 25th?
27th.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Look, there's nothing else happening after today.
This is it. We've ruined the month.
It's the end. So we need to jump over to
well, there's a couple in that span the weekend, the 26th to 29th. Just scroll up a bit.
Okay, the Memorial Day pop-up weekend. And we also want to say thank you to all of those who have family members who were veterans or who never left their uniform and died in service to their country, no matter where their country is, but specifically for the U.S. this weekend. Memorial Day pop-up challenges. The USS Arizona is one of the ships that was sunk at Pearl Harbor. Canada's Gordon Lightfoot Connection Sprint. How about that?
Very cool.
That's next week's connection theme.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. U.S. Black Heritage. It's nice to have Betsy because Betsy is a part of the events team. So she's helping coordinate that kind of stuff. So that's great. And we'll hop on over to the social media page, to the social media team, and check out stuff coming up. Sunday the 28th, you can post the community cookbook link. We're still working on that. I need to put, do they have any blueberry pie recipes yet? This I need to know.
Must have blueberry pie.
Have to have blueberry pie, biscuits.
Biscuits, I was going to say.
Grits. I can't get my family to eat grits. I don't know what's wrong with them. You put enough butter and cheese in anything, they can eat it. Really? Question of the week. You can post that on Monday. One Name Tuesday on the 30th. One Place Wednesday coming up. And then how did we get back to 5-4 here? You remember Q&A. Why are we, Betsy, that's yours.
That is mine. And mine was, I did do one on May 4th, but I don't know.
That's odd. Okay. So we've got some stuff coming up. 6-1 Project Showcase, Connection Finder, Hollywood Walk of Fame Spotlight. And look, it's your grandfather knows a godfather's there. I can't. I need to get some cotton in my mouth to do that.
Oh, yeah.
And Friday Date Night on the 2nd. So we got some stuff coming up. And if you want to help share the social media, share the WikiTree love, then that's a good thing. What's up with Yoke? What? Texture thing. Really?
Aww.
Mags, Brian got his pictures working. Can I just show these?
Yes, please do. That's the week. That's what you can do for helping share the love. And here are Brian's pictures.
What a way. So this is his mom through the years. First birthday. Or is it big enough? First birthday. What a cake.
Oh my goodness, you look like her.
Yes, in the eyes.
Yes.
Age 7 or 8.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, the dress.
Sweet.
And then were there more? Yeah.
Cape Breton, Glace Bay.
Yeah, grandparents' house. So his grandmother, I'm not sure which one, and enjoying the snow with my dog as a child.
Oh my gosh, I want to pinch your cheeks,
Yes,
Brian.
yes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I look at the sweater on the dog too.
Nice.
Well, you have to.
And recent times on Prince Edward Island with my dog Hetty, a schnauzer.
Oh.
And it looks like the dog is actually holding the shovel, which
It
is
does.
does the dog actually do shoveling?
Yeah, that's right. That's very good. Very well trained.
That would be a dog to keep around.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Brian.
Yay. Well, that is our WikiTree livecast for today. We appreciate you coming by and hanging out with us, and we look forward to seeing you next week when we will run for 3 hours instead. So come back and see us soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.